Welcome, homeschool mamas. Join me for tea this 2 weeks of probably now until Friday, right before Mother's Day. Every day, I'm going to be providing you an opportunity to listen to someone who can be a support in your homeschool world. And join me for tea. I'd love to hear your questions. If you ask questions in the comments section, we'll answer them live. And today I get the privilege of chatting with Amanda Schenkenberger, who is a homeschool mom life coach or coach that is serving the homeschool mom community this next couple weeks by sharing with us the things that she's learning from other working homeschool moms. So if you are a working homeschool mom, you'll definitely want to join our conversations in her summit in the next couple weeks. So to first introduce Amanda Schenkenberger, I'm going to have her introduce herself so you can get to know a little bit about her. And I'm going to invite her live here. Let's just see. Accept.
Hello,
Hey,
Teresa.
Amanda. You got
I do.
some tea?
Sweet and
This is our little
spicy.
tea. Our home sweet and spicy. Ooh, that sounds like
Yes,
Amanda.
it's true.
Yes, it's true. I'm so glad you're here. This is our first tea of probably, I think I have 10 organized or planned. And so every afternoon at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you have to have tea with me and another lovely homeschool mama who's supporting other homeschool parents in the community in some form or fashion. So for those that aren't familiar with you, would you introduce yourself?
So my name is Amanda Schenkenberger. I'm a homeschool mom of 4 boys. Their ages are between 3 and 10. The little one's learning through osmosis. He's not. We're doing the fun things right now. But I'm also a former homeschool kid myself. I was homeschooled all the way through high school, and I knew as soon as I entered high school that it wasn't for me, and that I was not going to put my kids in public school. And so many years ago, there was a lot less going on in the public schools, and I just knew that format of education wasn't like the way that was going to work for me and my family. And so now I get to support mostly moms in pursuing bringing their kiddos home. And basically, instead of with education, we're not checking the boxes anymore. We're opening up the box on what education truly is. And so, calming chaos, creating schedules, and repairing our relationships with our kids is where I really like to focus and hit home.
Absolutely lovely. And that was going to be my first question is what brought you to homeschooling? So what brought you to homeschooling was homeschooling.
Yeah, a little tidbit about my homeschooling experience. It was very unschooled. We lived on a ranch and we bred horses and dogs and cats. And so very hands-on. Like my dad taught me to read using Hooked on Phonics. And I learned some math, but, every day was a science experiment, riding horses, helping, the moms give birth to babies, puppies, and all those sort of things.
I love that. That sounds, by the way, very similar to our home. We're expecting a baby Nubian goat at the end of June. Yay. She's the sweetest, smartest, most demure goat that we have. And so selling 2 alpines, if anybody's curious. Let me know, DM me. But I would love to hear your thoughts on what you've learned about you, your kids, and your homeschool, or about learning. So
I actually learned a lot about my older 2 kids. So my 10-year-old, I really began to learn, being 10, he has this increase in activity that can kind of turn into angst for him, and he's experiencing emotions, and he's like, I don't know why I feel like this, and it's very sweet. But what I'm finding, whereas before I might be like, okay, just watch a movie, play a video game, what I'm finding is he's actually yearning for responsibility. And giving him being that age and giving him more responsibility has helped him feel like he's a contributor. And I've really seen him
Yeah.
grow and flourish and be capable, which is not something I did very well with my oldest. And so that's what I'm beginning to see in him. And my second, it's been more of a challenge, not so much on the, I don't want to say on the positive side of things. He's really struggling with hearing instructions and like cementing them in his brain.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I told you to do this, this, and this. Why are you like petting the cat? Oh, I thought the cat was lonely. I'm like, but that's, I mean, it's very sweet. But I'm like, yeah, but I told you to brush your teeth 10 minutes ago. Have you done that? Oh, no. And I'm like, so it's, I'm thinking that there might be like some learning challenges there where I get to learn how to better communicate to him and help him discover how his brain works. So those are some of the things that we've been learning this calendar year.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Once upon a time, I might have said in my early days that it was okay, just let the toothbrushing go, but that can be expensive.
Well, okay. So inside, we just went to the dentist like 2 weeks ago, and she like took her glove and like went up on his tooth. And she's like, do you see all this fuzzies? This is plaque. And I was like, huh. I was horrified. So I was like, yeah, we're doing the teeth brushing.
That's exactly what I mean. That and the candy, although I'm not anti-candy, but wow, that's the reason why I default from saying, okay, wait, have you brushed your teeth at Halloween? 100%. Floss, brush, candy's gone now. Let's just move on. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's expensive. So those are the things that you learned about your kiddos this year. And also you're learning about learning, I assume, because that element when your child, you said 8-year-old son is learning to listen to your directions. I don't remember who said this to me, but someone had said until the age of 7, kids are able to hear 7 requests in a row and they can honor that. And I was like, my kiddo is smart. My youngest was smart and not capable
that's like
to 7 tasks in a row.
I don't know if
that sounds like
capable of that.
I'm not sure. Exactly. Especially if it has to do with numbers. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. Yeah. So I don't know, but there's something to be said about exploring that, that of executive functioning, or anytime we're trying to learn about our child, to learn about learning so that we don't have these wildly unrealistic expectations that are not possible with our kiddos. Yeah. Been there, done that, still learning that. So I'm curious, is there something that you've been learning about yourself?
That's a whole nother box to unpack. I'm learning, I guess I'm learning about like stepping into my capabilities more in like the business side. And really see where I like overextend and be like, okay, now you can take a step back and that's okay. So learning to have boundaries, I guess, for myself.
Yeah. Unrealistic expectations for yourself. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. And what I've learned about you, you are a mover and a shaker. You make stuff happen.
I do.
And you do it
I try.
So is there a 1 to 3 values that you have, or a couple of values that you would share that undergird your homeschool or your family
so
life?
I think for us, I believe that the world needs who our children were created to be. And I want to make sure everything, like my oldest, he feels very strongly. I think he was 4 or 5 when he heard God tell him he was going to be a pastor. And I was like, oh, that's sweet, sweetie. Sure. Okay. Just like he was like 4 or 5. He was so young. And, but it's just been something that's been reemphasized to him. So the callings that I think each of my kids have on their unique life to fulfill, like, their fingerprint and their unique skills, what like undergirds everything is I'm putting whatever I'm teaching through that lens for each individual child. Like my youngest is even though he's a boy, he's exceptionally empathetic. He just like
Yeah.
sees things, like he sees me, he's like, Mommy, you're sad right now. And I'm like, yeah, I am, buddy. Like he just like sees it and gets it. So really tailoring my communication or where we go in our learning to where I think that they like their path for their unique life is set them on. And so really helping them step into who they've created to be. That's one of the big undergirders for us.
That's beautiful, Amanda. It really is, especially your kiddo that's empathizing with the cat
Yeah,
because the cat's
yeah,
lonely. I love I love that. Being able to really clarify what are your values and are you actually aligning with those values in your day to
yeah,
day, I find is the biggest challenge that we can work through a list of values and say, yes, I really value these things like independence or individualizing our education. I noticed that in myself that when I would look at my kiddos, I'd be like, yes, I see this about you. This is how I should tailor an education. And here's the 65 things we're going to do anyway, whether it has anything to do
yeah,
with who
yeah.
you are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know.
I,
Thinking about
so
those
go ahead.
values, I wanted to say most of the time, like if I sat when I sat at the end of the day and I'm like, did I really do a thorough job on that? Most of the time the answer is really no. And I'll have some days where I shine at it, but I think honestly, if I keep that in my mind and in front of my eyes every single day, I do make steps towards that, especially as it gets clearer as they get older. And so even though I feel like I could do vastly better every single day, I know like the little steps of that progress really will pay off big in the end.
Amen, sister. Exactly. Because that's all we got anyways. And this penchant for perfectionism that many of us have, I certainly know this experience
Right.
of, are you doing it perfectly though? Not gonna,
Exactly.
so it's okay. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. So I want to hear from you. What makes you uniquely you and worthy of being celebrated as a homeschool mom, a human being on
So
the
that was
planet
a
right now?
really hard question. I'll just be honest. Now, like unique, it can be like, okay, I'm a little bit of sometimes I talk about like I have four boys, so I'm a little bit what's unique about me is I'm a little bit of like a militant mom, but there's like a warmth and a passion and a grit and a like there's that to me, and I would say that's one of the things that kind of makes me a unique homeschool mom. What makes me worthy? That's a hard one. Um, because I thought in my head, I'm like, well, it's because I do this. And I'm like, worthiness has nothing to do with what I do. So I am worthy because I've been entrusted with these people. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're asking me personally, I'd be like, well, I'm worthy because God wants me as his daughter. Like, that's what makes me worthy because I was created with love and intention and a purpose, um, just like you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say makes me worthy. Because we can't define it about what we do, right?
You know what I want to say to you is that I see that passion and I see a natural
Mm.
born penchant for leadership. You have ideas and you do it. And I see that as a real strong suit. So I'm sure. And I happen to know you're an 8-wing-7. So you're
A
probably
whole
a
lot of
whole
fun,
lot
dude.
of fun.
When I got
Yeah.
my coffee in the morning, my tea in the afternoon, I was like doing backflips off the jungle gym the other day. You know, like I'm about having fun. But again, yeah, it's like that. I'm very much a driver, but let's make it a little bit of a game. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Bring it. So you actually are going to be bringing an opportunity for homeschool
Mhm.
moms in the next couple weeks. A working homeschool mom summit, or what have
Yes.
you? What
So,
is it?
Working
What's the
Homeschool Mom
title? Remind
Summit,
me.
Working Homeschool Mom event. I get to interview the lovely Teresa here, along with 30 other either moms in business or working homeschool moms. And they're all really sharing what they have learned through the journey of being a working mom, working homeschool mom, and they want to offer that hard-won wisdom to you. If you're ready to step into either working and homeschooling or homeschooling and working, or you're already there. And a lot of them share their schedule, but it's mostly the feedback that I've been getting. It's just so good to hear from experienced moms, and then like really experienced moms, like their kids, they worked while they homeschooled and their kids are adults now, right? So lots of wisdom in there. And registration's open till Friday. It's completely free. And if you want to join us, you can go to bit.ly/working homeschool moms, and I can put the URL in the comments too. But I have I've got Teresa there, and just so much wisdom. And I've learned so much from interviewing these lovely ladies. And I mean, I can't wait to share it with you guys.
Yeah, actually, even if you're not a working homeschool mom now, but you're kind of curious, is that possible? The answer is probably yes. But is it possible for you? You might get some little tidbits of wisdom to see if it really can be a useful, so much wisdom if you check out who is part of the program or part of your son. Yeah, putting that on and organizing it all. Huge event. So would you give a couple of tips, your ideas for working homeschool moms, how they can approach their life? I'll just say it that way.
So I think one, if you are wanting to step into, like, you're a homeschool mom, which is probably more likely if you're listening, and you're wanting to add working, I think one of the most practical things to have done well first is a schedule, and a schedule that has support built in for you. Because what I've learned from trying to do this from the last 8 years is that most of my work cannot be done at the same time I'm momming or homeschooling. It makes me not the mom I want to be. It makes me a really snappy, disconnected mom. And so I have to have working hours. Like right now, you see I'm in my office. My husband is at home with our boys. We just got back from vacation, so they're having a chill day. But typically, like right now, they typically be at piano practice with their dad. And so I have a support system in place where I can go and work without interference from the kids. So that would be the first thing I would say. And then secondly, I would say is make sure in that schedule you have time for you. Because if you're not nourishing yourself and filling yourself up, like we all know you can't like pour from an empty cup. Like we all get that. But then we sometimes, I think this is a common thread for homeschool moms, because we know, like, we're not afraid of hard things, which is one of the reasons we stepped into homeschooling, but sometimes that puts us in a bad place. And we do hard things unnecessarily, or we'll burn ourselves out on the altar of our family. And you can do that as a homeschool mom and you're not working, right? Yeah. And so making sure you have something that you are like nourishing yourself with. For me, that's an evening routine. I put my kids to bed. I read my Bible. I listen to music in the mornings. I dance, right? There's like a rhythm of things that I just do for me. I don't dance for my kids. They're asleep. I dance for me. And so you got to do something for you to really fill up your cup. So those would be my top two.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I want to see you dancing.
I have flags. I'm a flagger, and they're like these big, beautiful orange and red flags. They're gorgeous. And they sparkle in the sunshine.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. Dancing. That's right up my children's alley. 3 years. I'd like to say it comes from me. This is not accurate. So you find you on Instagram, Facebook?
I'm not on YouTube. That's one of those monsters I haven't bitten off yet. You can find me on Instagram. Yeah. That's where I'm mostly. Facebook is just kind of reiteration of what I do on Instagram, but I'm mostly here.
So a few quick questions, I say questions because I've got a lot of teenagers and like abbreviate every single word. So a few quick questions before we say goodbye. And then we actually hop onto your Instagram channel and chat where I'm chatting with you. So a few quick questions. The first one is, what would you say is a favorite Mother's Day treat for you? Whether your kids are listening to this or not.
I love, if we're talking about food, I love chocolate chip pancakes with bananas. And yeah, yeah, chocolate chip
Favorite over
pancakes and
here.
bananas and probably like eggs over easy. That's what I would want.
Beautiful. So I'm guessing
I
you'll probably
will.
end up getting some. Just get favorite activity
On
with your
Mother's Day,
kids on Mother's Day.
I'm like, I like to cuddle with them in our bed and like talk with them and then go on a hike.
I love it. Yeah, hikes, bring it. You're in Oregon, I'm in
Beautiful.
British Columbia, so are you not allowed to have to do that? And what about when you're on your own?
I'm probably hiking again. Yeah.
Beautiful. So like a gift you should or you could give to yourself, even if only in theory, whether
Yeah,
you
I'm
have
gonna get my
one.
hair done and I'm actually getting my hair done. So,
Oh, so beautiful. I love it. So you're going
yeah.
to actually have someone go do it for you
It
and pamper.
yeah,
Love.
it's like the whole shebang, like salon. I don't do it small, but I don't do it often. So,
Oh, I love it. Well, I hope you truly enjoy that. I'm with you. I don't do it often. There's a reason I don't usually put my fingers
yep.
on Instagram, despite being a homeschool mom of self-care. Yeah, and
I
I
know.
never say, hey, follow me for fashion advice.
I
Nope.
don't say that either.
And you are watching occasionally would be
Yeah.
like, Mom, there's a reason for that. Yeah. It was such a pleasure having you
Thank you.
here. It was so much fun. And to all the home mamas that are working homeschool moms, I wish you a really
Happy
lovely,
Mother's
happy
Day.
Mother's Day. Mwah. Thank you.